delicious.
Hey fruit tree growers, this is Tom Spellman here at Dave Wilson Nursery. It's first week in July. Actually, the weather is going to be beautiful today. We're probably going to be in the mid 80s, maybe 90 degrees, low humidity. Nice summer day for July in the Central Valley. So we've already begun to harvest a lot of fruit varieties this year. Our apricots, our apriums, our early plums, early peaches, early nectarines. So it's time to start incorporating some summer pruning, especially after some of these varieties have been harvested. Here's a apricot, aprium, picotum combination, 3-in-1. It's Tom-cot and Bella Gold and Flavorella plum-cot, and it's done really well. It's grown out really well. We had a nice crop off of it, but now we want to kind of bring it back into balance a little bit. We did some pruning on it early in the season, but just to kind of keep everything in balance. But now you can see it's grown out 6 feet, 7 feet since early in the season. So the first thing I want to do is walk around the exterior, and I'm just going to look for things that are out of balance or kind of out of place. So here's a branch that's kind of growing, you know, out of balance, so we can take that off. I can come back and take the edges back in a little bit. I can look for some of this long, lanky vigor, and I can take that out as I move my way around the tree. I don't have to touch every branch. I don't have to make a cut everywhere I go. I'm just looking for things that I think would balance out this tree better, or this combination better, since there are actually 3 plants in the combination. And I'm going to do this in steps. I'm not going to try and do the top and the sides at the same time. I'm going to work my way around and do everything on the outside, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at the top. So it looks like I'm missing a lot, and I am, but I think it's important to kind of stage some of these jobs into more than one function. So to work your way around the combination, maybe work the center of the combination a little bit, and then work the top, makes a big difference in how everything comes into place. If you're concentrating on one thing at a time, it makes it a lot easier. So we'll just do that. We'll just walk around the outside. And remember, it's only the first week in July. So I have July, August, September, and even into early October to get regrowth. So I'm going to get a lot more establishment before the end of summer. I'll probably have another 3 or 4 feet worth of growth off of a lot of these cuts by the end of summer. So always take that into consideration. Don't cut where you want it to be ultimately. Cut back beyond that so that you can grow out to the point where you want it to establish. This is on the west side, which gets a lot of afternoon hot sun exposure. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive here and try and keep this open a little bit on this west side. Now, I've had a lot of people comment on some of the videos that I'm doing saying I'm not showing them enough detail. I'm not spending, you know, enough time showing where I'm making a cut or why I'm making a cut. And I'll explain that, because it's not really that important. What the most important concept here is get the tree in balance. The tree has to be balanced. The combination has to be balanced so that it's manageable for you. At that point, you're going to get plenty of regrowth through the rest of the summer. I'm going to get a lot of fruiting wood before this tree goes dormant. So I'm not looking at establishing fruiting wood with the cuts that I'm making today. I'm looking at growing my fruiting wood out for the rest of the summer. So I can be as detailed as I want, or I can be just as casual as I want and just make cuts that fit my purpose and my area and my function for the tree itself. Other than that, I'm going to reestablish plenty of fruiting wood. Here's our picotum. It's kind of grown out into the roadway quite a bit, cutting off some of my access here, so I'm going to open that up a little more drastically. These were really good this year. It wasn't a big crop, but they were real tasty. So now that I've worked my way around the outside one time, let's go back and look up a little higher. So my ultimate size here, again, I want this to be about maybe 7.5 feet high. So I can come back in now and just start working some of these tips and some of this long whippy growth. And again, I don't have to cut every one. I don't have to make a cut at every point. I'm not necessarily looking for a finished open structure right now in midsummer. I'm just looking to establish size control and get this plant back to a size that works for me. You know, a lot of people are still hesitant to do much summer pruning, but one of the interesting things in prunus growing here in the Central Valley, when it comes to apricots and cherries in particular, we found that a lot of commercial growers that used to incorporate winter pruning techniques have almost completely abandoned the winter pruning in favor of summer pruning, because they can bring back the plant at a time of year when you're going to get plenty of reestablishment and regrowth right away. You're going to get immediate healing on the cuts that you've made, and if you have any bacterial problems that could easily spread during the moist winter months, when it is moist in the winter months, you have almost no issue of that when you're summer pruning. So the apricot and the cherry growers have now almost exclusively gone to summer pruning technique. So remember, like I said, you don't have to hit every single branch. You're not out here to manicure this tree. Summer pruning is basically reestablishment of size control. So you're just bringing the tree back down into a balance where everything's reachable and manageable for you. Now, we have, like I said earlier, we have plenty of time to reestablish fruiting wood, and there's plenty of fruiting wood on this tree right now. Apricots and apricot hybrids produce on 2-year little short spurs, which are already developed here and will be fruiting and flowering next season, and they'll also produce some on new wood. So with apricots, you could really come back and prune them back even much more severely than this in July or early August, and you'll still have plenty of time to reestablish new 1-year fruiting wood. And then wherever you have these short spurs in here, you can already see there's already bloom character starting to develop this early. So you're already starting to get some flower bud development that's going to come in next spring.